There are a bunch of great adventures that were published for D&D and other tabletop role-playing games, but they don't all work well for younger players. So, how can we adapt some of these great existing adventures so that they work well for kids? Let's discuss. Welcome to Geek Philosophy, where we love geeky wisdom. If you're new to the channel, my name's Brian, and we release new videos weekly, so please consider subscribing and turning on the notifications so you don't miss out on any of the content. Today, I'm going to focus on adapting these published adventures, how to adjust things to make it work for a kid's table. And this isn't the only way to do it, so please make sure that you write down your own thoughts in the comments below so we can all learn from one another. Okay, my 6-step process is a starting point for adapting an adventure for kids. Just for fun, you may want to write these down as we go. We'll revisit that shortly. I know that I'm going to need to adapt things further as I go, but each of these steps helps me consider some of the baseline adjustments to get things on the right track for a kid's game. And step 1 is to make sure that the adventure will get the player's attention. Good for all games, but especially important for kids. I try to identify things like what parts of the adventure will excite the players, and if there are any clues or mysteries that will need to be highlighted. And also, more importantly, will the players have an opportunity to showcase their abilities. For step 2, though, I want to ensure it's episodic. It's important that I don't end the session in the middle of things. If you're playing with your children's neighborhood kids that may show up for a game, it's good to be able to make sure that each one of these sessions could consist of a different group of players and characters. So is the adventure a one-shot? And for younger kids, I mean, this would be something that you could finish in about an hour. Or is it written as a larger adventure, like a campaign, that is split into smaller episodes? And will it fit into my preferred start at headquarters, go on your adventure, and return to headquarters by the end of the game format? Step 3 is when I talk it through. This may be the strangest of the steps. I literally read things out loud, and I sort of tell the story to myself. I read through the adventure as if I'm presenting it at the table. It helps me figure things out like, what do the NPCs, locations, and monsters look like? What do they sound like? And are the locations and actions and other key information easy to describe? And for step 4, I like to individualize the plot. I ask myself questions like, who are the players and the characters for this particular session? What connections can I draw between each character and an event or an NPC or a specific location in the story? And do the PCs have specific relevant information to the adventure? Step 5 is where I calibrate the combat. Based on the age group of my table and the input from their parents even, I want to make sure that the potential combat is adjusted appropriately. Nothing needs to be too violent for the group and more than they can handle. Finally, in step 6, I need to find ways to actively promote roleplay. Now, there are definitely best practices in general to promote roleplay at the table, but what role-playing opportunities are already in the adventure? What's been baked in there by default? Is there a good mix of social interactions and exploration and combat and non-combat action? Are there opportunities for the players to think outside of the box during the adventure? Okay, those are my steps. Let's recap. Step 1, get the player's attention. Step 2, ensure it's episodic. Step 3, talk it through. Step 4, individualize the plot. Step 5, calibrate the combat. And step 6, actively promote roleplay. Notice anything familiar with these steps? No? The steps spell out Gotika, and if you haven't already seen our Guardians of Gotika video, let me give you a little context. Guardians of Gotika is a subsetting that I'm developing specifically for kids to fit inside or alongside any fantasy campaign world setting that you might be running. It's an opportunity to have a kid-friendly subsetting within your established setting that you've been using for teens and adults. Now, I do have some unique considerations when adapting an adventure for the Guardians of Gotika subsetting, but my baseline process of those 6 steps still apply. The Guardians of Gotika setting is kind of configured to do all of these things by default. Since the heroes are part of a secret organization that sends them on missions, step 1 and 2 are covered. And establishing the fact that they're just going on one of their other missions is sort of a way to make sure that they're starting at Guardian Headquarters and ending at Guardian Headquarters. And this episodic format means that they're part of a larger organization, and you can switch up the roster from mission to mission as you need to. It's almost like a West March style campaign, but it's a little closer to a superhero team where they send the right heroes to tackle the right problem. But you're still going to need to individualize the plot for the characters and the players for that particular mission. But combat is where the Guardians of Gotika subsetting really shines. You can reskin pretty much any monster as a fright. Frights are only visible to kids and elders, and they can take a variety of forms, pretty much anything you can think of. You can turn any monster in the game into a fright. The difference is they're sort of energy beings that are banished by the weapons that the Guardians carry or by using magic. And through combat, if they get a fright down to 0 hit points, it doesn't involve anything really gruesome. It just simply banishes them, causing them to sort of dissipate and disperse their energy. When the frights do damage, it can also be described as draining the PC's energy until they finally get down to 0 HP. And similar to 5e, the players have 3 saves. Sort of like death saves, except not death saves, because they're not going to die if they fail 3 times. They'll just remember nothing. They'll forget. They won't be able to see the frights or remember the frights anymore. So you don't have to worry about character death from the player side in the game. But it still may mean they have to roll up a new character if they want to continue with the same group, because they won't be able to see or perceive the frights anymore, so they won't really be a guardian. Good thing is, like I said, episodic. If they roll up a new character, easy to slip them into the team to replace their previous one. The players have other options besides just combat. There are mundane best practices that will scare off and ward against the frights. The players can use their knowledge and the lore of what the frights are all about and ward against them by spreading the word about how to make sure you can protect yourself, so the NPCs can probably take care of these problems on their own moving forward. For example, one classification of frights won't come anywhere near light created by people, like torches or candles or lanterns. And the players and their characters could spread this knowledge to basically save the day, so that the heroes are not just going and banishing the frights, they're also teaching the populace how to protect themselves. So finding a way to convert an existing published adventure that will work in the Guardians of Gotika subsetting is a good option for making anything kid-friendly. Thanks for hanging out with me while I shared my geek philosophy about adapting an existing adventure for kids. And if you have your own geek philosophy about this topic, please add it to the comments below so we can learn from you. In the spirit of adaptability, I thought I'd leave with a quote from the iconic Dolly Parton. "We cannot direct the wind, but we can adjust the sails." Cheers.